Hey YouTube, it's Weird Paul. The first time I ever saw a music video was around early 1983. It was on the HBO program Video Jukebox. I had just turned 12, and I wasn't really into music yet, so this was my first exposure to the latest hits. In late 1983, I started watching NBC's Friday Night Videos. It was on for an hour and a half every Friday night. I'd set the timer on the VCR so that I could watch it on Saturday mornings. In 1984, I started a list of every music video that I'd ever seen. The list had about 400 videos on it at that time, and I was obsessed. I was desperate to see more videos, but we didn't have MTV. I started carefully looking at the TV listings, and soon I realized that there were a lot of video shows that I could watch. One was called The Greatest Record Collection. It aired for a half hour on weekdays, either in the mornings or the evenings, and they had a spinning record logo at the end of the videos. In the summer of 1984, I watched a weekday video countdown show called Hot.
Wang Chung at number 5. Wang Chung and it's hot.
Viewers would send in votes for the countdown, and Hot would show their pictures. I sent in a postcard with my favorite videos, and Hot called me on the phone, asking me for a photo. I sent the photo in, and this was my first time on television. ABC started their own half-hour video show, ABC Rocks. It was on the same time as Friday Night Videos, so I started what became a weekly ritual of setting 2 different VCRs to tape 2 different shows in 2 different rooms. On Saturday mornings, I'd watch This Week's Music, which was hosted by Courtney Cox and had a live audience dancing along to the videos. On Saturday nights, I taped Rockin' America, an hour-long show hosted by the late Fraser Smith. He would often edit himself into the music videos, which was usually annoying, but I'm sure that he had fun. At the same time, on another channel, I'd be taping New York Hot Tracks. This was my first exposure to rap and soul videos, most of which I couldn't see anywhere else. Occasionally I would get music video magazines, like Who's Who in Video Music, or Rock Video. By early 1985, I'd started making a list of every music video ever made on these note cards. I'd been seeing lots of videos on Odyssey, a program that ran overnight, every night.
Odyssey.
I'd set the timer with a 6-hour tape, and then I'd fast forward through it the next day looking for anything I'd never seen. I remember my dad voicing his displeasure that I was wearing out the VCR's motor by doing this. Odyssey had an address, so I wrote them a letter requesting they play some videos that I'd never seen. They sent me this letter back, telling me that I should ask the record companies to send them the videos. I was watching every music video show there was, no matter how obscure. TV 2000 was on Saturdays. It was hosted by rock journalist Lisa Robinson, with the added comedy of John Kassir.
One thing left to do, buy some super glue.
I was even watching Christian music videos on the local show Light Music, hosted by the late Tom Green, who sometimes wore a paper bag over his head to hide his identity for being too controversial. For Christmas 1985, I got the Rolling Stone Book of Rock Video.
I know every damn stinking video in the whole wide world.
At the time, this was the only book about music videos, and I dreamed about seeing the many videos it listed. In 1986, I got the book Music Video Trivia. I thought that it was a truly awesome book, with over 2,000 questions. My knowledge of music videos was so great that I found over 60 mistakes in the book. And for a while, I entertained the thought of writing to them to point them out. PBS even had a music video show. Color Sounds was an educational series where they highlighted different letter sounds to teach people to read. In 1987, my family finally got MTV, but by this time, MTV's classic era was over, so I was more excited about some of the other shows, like Night Tracks on TBS, Night Flight on the USA Network, and even Nickelodeon's Nick Rocks. By 1988, I'd seen over 3,400 different music videos, and I had filled up 5 6-hour tapes with my favorites. And now, I was watching a whole new channel.
Supercomputer, I edit some great new videos for you.
With the Jukebox Network, later known simply as The Box, you could call in and pay to see any of the videos they were showing that week. I never did call in, but I spent a lot of time watching what other people were playing. I would have been amazed as a teenager to find out that 20 years later, you could watch almost any music video anytime on YouTube. I hope that you enjoyed my music video memories. If you did, don't forget to click the like button down below. I'll see you soon with more memories. Thanks, YouTube.